A single mom sheltered 25 freezing bikers. The next morning, 200 Hells Angels surrounded her cabin. In the frozen wilds of Montana, where the wind howls through pine trees like a forgotten lullaby, Clara Mayfield lived a quiet life with her 6-year-old daughter, Sophie. Widowed just 2 winters prior, Clara had retreated to a remote cabin nestled deep in the woods, a place she hoped would keep her little girl safe from the chaos of the world. They had little: a wood stove that barely held heat, canned beans that stretched over 3 meals, and each other. Then came the blizzard. It wasn't just snow, it was a white fury that swallowed roads whole, snapping power lines and burying cars beneath 6 feet of ice. Clara and Sophie huddled under quilts, listening to the wind scream through the cracks in their cabin walls. Around midnight, a faint knock echoed through the storm. Not loud, not demanding, just desperate. Clara peered through the frosted window. 25 men stood in the snow, leather jackets soaked through, faces pale from cold. Bikers. Their van had slid off the highway miles from anywhere. One of them held up a gloved hand. "Please," he rasped, "we just need warmth until morning." Fear clawed at Clara's chest. She'd heard stories about outlaw clubs, danger, tattoos, violence. But then Sophie tugged her sleeve. "Mommy, they look like they're freezing like Mr. Whiskers was last winter." Mr. Whiskers was their barn cat, now buried beneath a tiny cairn of stones behind the shed. Heart pounding, Clara opened the door. What followed wasn't the nightmare she had imagined. The bikers filed in silently, stomping snow from their boots, murmuring "thank you" like they meant it. They crowded near the stove, sharing body heat, but never once made her feel unsafe. One man, tall with a scar across his eyebrow, spotted Sophie's broken window, howling with icy drafts. "I can patch that," he said gently. Within an hour, he'd sealed it with a salvaged plank and duct tape. Another whittled a little wooden bird while Sophie watched, wide-eyed. "For you," he said, handing it to her, "so you remember that not all strangers are scary." Clara served them thin soup and stale bread. They ate like it was a feast. No complaints, no demands, just quiet gratitude. As the night deepened, she realized something astonishing. These men, rough on the outside, carried a tenderness within them she hadn't expected. They spoke in hushed tones, checked on Sophie when she dozed off, and even sang an old folk tune when the wind died down. By dawn, the storm had passed. Clara expected them to leave, and they did, but not before the scarred man, who introduced himself as Hawk, pressed her hand. "You didn't have to open that door, but you did. That changes everything." She watched them ride away on their motorcycles, leaving only tire tracks and silence. Then, rumble. Not one engine. Dozens. Hundreds. Clara's breath caught as a sea of chrome and leather rolled into her clearing. 200 bikers, maybe more. They parked in perfect formation, dismounted with military precision, and surrounded her cabin, not with menace, but with purpose. Hawk stepped forward again, this time wearing a patch that read, "Hells Angels, Montana Chapter." "Word travels fast in our family," he said, smiling softly. "You showed kindness when you had every reason not to. So now, we show up for you." What happened next felt like a dream. Men scaled her roof, replacing rotted shingles. Others chopped and stacked firewood, enough to last 2 winters. Women, yes, there were women among them, carried groceries into her pantry. Flour, sugar, canned vegetables, even a jar of honey, labeled "for Sophie." Someone installed storm windows, another fixed her broken porch step. Through it all, Sophie danced among them, clutching her wooden bird, calling them "my angels." Finally, Hawk handed Clara a thick envelope. It's for her future. College, dance lessons, whatever she dreams of. Clara tried to protest, tears streaming down her face, but Hawk shook his head. We reminded ourselves who we are, not just bikers, but brothers, protectors, men who believe in goodness. As the last motorcycle disappeared over the ridge, Sophie whispered, "Mommy, do you think they really are angels?" Clara held her close. Maybe not the kind with wings, but the kind who show up when the world goes dark, and that's just as real. In a world that often feels cold and divided, Clara's choice to open her door, her heart, her home, ignited a chain reaction of generosity that no blizzard could freeze. She learned that courage isn't just about facing danger. It's about trusting in the humanity of others, even when they wear leather and ride loud machines. And sometimes the most unexpected heroes wear patches, not capes. If this story moved you, if it reminded you that kindness still exists in the world, then please like, share, and subscribe to ACA Story Tales. We believe in stories that heal, inspire, and restore your faith in people. Comment below. Have you ever received or given unexpected kindness from a stranger? Don't forget to hit the bell, because every week we bring you real, emotional tales that prove love, loyalty, and second chances are still alive. Watch till the end, because the world needs more angels like Clara and like them. Thanks for watching.